Hi everyone, welcome back to Three Devils and a Gooner. My own name is Amy, and today I'm joined by Jen, Becca, and Danielle. How are you today, girls?
Good, good.
Yeah, good, thank you.
For a Monday.
For a Monday, yeah. So we're going to kick off this. Obviously, yesterday Arsenal had a shock win at King Power Stadium. How are you feeling about that today, Jennifer?
Delighted. We've had a great week. I'm over the moon. God, what can I say about the match? Going 1-0 down seems to be our fallback position. I don't know. I think they like to make it a bit hard on themselves. I will say that I did say last week on here, you need to put Cedric at right back and Pepe in front of him, because Bellerin does not pass to Pepe. Bellerin is just a bit of a sod. And it worked. 31 times they had interactions during the match, the most of any other in the whole match, and it was just brilliant. The goal was a total muck up. I don't know, it was Xhaka and Willian mucking up, losing the ball, and then again us not being in the position to defend it again too early on in the match. And I don't know why we keep doing it, but thank God we had Pepe there yesterday, and Willian actually made up for his mistake. We had Pepe there, and he was just brilliant. He was amazing. As you can tell, I probably love him. If I was single and he was single, I'd be there. Love the man. Love the man. Even when he's dropped, I get so cross, and I'm going, why is he dropped? He can't be dropped. But I think he showed it yesterday, and he showed it on Thursday. Why? Oh, he wasn't playing Thursday, sorry. But when he played the last time, he shows how good he is. He can play on the left and he can play on the right. Obviously, he loves playing on the right. That's his position. But when Saka's playing, he can't play there. So he showed, with Cedric behind him on the left, even, he was really, really good. So now with him even in his right-hand side yesterday, he was just amazing. He absolutely loved it. He just had the young defender in his pocket, so much so he had to be substituted at half-time. It was one of the matches that you can sit down and go, actually, I'm enjoying this. We're playing well. We're attacking. We're not sitting back trying to just pass the ball to each other doing nothing. So, absolutely delighted. I'd love to play Leicester every week if that's how we're playing.
Yeah, I noticed even yesterday, like Willian had a really good game yesterday, and he's actually been quite poor for since he signed. I feel like he was a great player at Chelsea, and I feel like he went to Ian, he was playing quite poor then, and I feel like it's just the Arsenal effect on players, to be honest. Sorry, Jen.
It's all right. All I say to that is, Martin Keown yesterday made a comment from commentary, and he said William wanted to stay at Chelsea, and he's mourning the loss of Chelsea. Well, if I didn't lose it then with Martin Keown, I'll never lose it. How can a player be mourning the loss from a club that he could have stayed at? If he was mourning the loss of them, stay there. Don't come to us just because we've offered you a year more. Don't bother. Stay there. Don't want you. So he has a lot to make up to for the Arsenal supporters, and yesterday went a long way for it. He got man of the match. I disagreed a little bit. He was really good, but Pepe, in my opinion, was miles better. If we didn't have Pepe, we wouldn't have had the first goal because he won the free kick. We wouldn't have had the penalty, So, yeah, Willian, hopefully, he did it against Fulham first match, and he's done it now. So we better drop him now until next season.
Was that your favourite Premier League match this season, do you think?
Yeah, probably. I'm waiting for Spurs in 2 games two Premiership matches time, and then I'll tell you after that, because I do love a North London derby.
I'll come back to you.
Yeah.
You've drawn.
Really
you've drawn Olympiacos again in the Europa League. Obviously they knocked you out last season. How are you feeling about that?
Revenge will be sweet. Olympiacos, we did what we do. As I said to you, the last few matches, we don't have the get up and go. If we go 1-0 down, we don't seem to be able to actually get in there. And I've just read the comment. Sorry, it's made me laugh. We don't seem to have the wherewithal to just score a goal, keep it handy, keep it nice. Yesterday, we managed to go 3-1 up and we kept it at 3-1. We didn't try going scoring loads of more goals. We didn't open it up. We kept it closed. So when we played Olympiacos last year, we only scored 1 at their ground. We need to score more. But actually today, we've been told we've got our home leg first, which actually suits Arsenal better because, like, hopefully we'll score 2 at least. And then we know what we have to do when we go to theirs. And away and home and away for us isn't a big deal, especially with no supporters. And we've played there already now at their stadium, and we beat Benfica there. That's where we played against Benfica. So hopefully, revenge will get there.
Hopefully.
And I don't say hopefully. I actually do believe we'll beat them quite handily this season, because it will be like if, you know, United played, I don't know who they played last year, but if they played them this year and got the same team and they'd lost to them by a goal last year, it'd be like, no way, not doing it again, not letting you in. We should have beaten you, and we will this time.
Sevilla.
So,
Yeah.
Sevilla, yeah.
Quarter. Oh. Danielle, did you watch Arsenal's game yesterday? What did you make of their win? Obviously, it was a bit of a shock, like, so.
It was because
we thought Leicester would put up a bit of a fight, like, so.
Yeah, I think Leicester are going to struggle now with injuries. I think that Harvey Barnes and James Maddison are a massive loss for them. When they went 1-0 down, no offence, Jen, but I was kind of expecting Arsenal to bottle it because that's just typical Arsenal's. Or it seems to have been that way the last few seasons. But yeah, they actually showed a little bit of mentality and a bit of bustle about them, which was interesting to see. I always feel like, Jen, you always seem to be either playing Bayern Munich or Olympiacos whenever you play in Europe. It's like I don't know. It was like, I swear, I was listening to you talking, and I was like, I swear you've played them like loads of times before. So
we definitely always get a Greek team or Turkish actually as well. Like, we try and stay away from Fenerbahce and stuff. Don't like playing them. But what you said about Arsenal bottling it, we made 6 changes yesterday, and I think that really did change the way the team played. I can't go on enough about Cedric and Pepe, but I do think it just gave us a new impetus, because these 6 lads have been sitting on the bench, and Laka, Pepe, you know, shouldn't have been on the bench really, but they had to be as such because Aubameyang's fit again. Aubameyang's back. Saka has been playing out of his skin. So now there's a fight between them. Who's the best player? So, you know, a bit of competition does them all the world of good. Do you know,
we've seen that at United as well, haven't we? Like with Shaw and Tellez this season, that a bit of healthy competition actually drives up the performance levels.
Yeah, definitely.
100%.
Long may it continue.
Do you know what? I actually like to see Arsenal do well, because
she's only saying that now.
No, I'm actually not, because I just feel like you just have been so unlucky the last couple of seasons, and like, especially in the media, like, they just rip the shit out of you you can't do anything, like, it's like us this year, like, you can't do fucking anything without getting ripped in the media, and like, it is just lovely to see you winning games, especially against a team that people thought, no, they're going to absolutely run away with it. Like, so credits where credit due. Credit where credit due.
I won't lie. I do kind of miss Banter FC.
Banter FC.
You know, it was nice watching them fail for a little while. Sorry.
I think I can just say it because I just don't think obviously Arsenal aren't really on our radar at the minute, like where we are. So I think it's nice for me to be like, oh, they're
It's
doing well.
easy to look down.
I know it's very easy to go up here. It's very hard. No, it is nice to see you do well.
Becca, what do you make of Arsenal's win yesterday? Do you think it's a confidence boost of them going into the Europa League now against Olympiacos?
Yeah, like I hope so for them because, like I said, like I do have a little bit of a soft spot. I just hate it's just rotten, like seeing, especially. I'd much prefer it if we all just ganged up on Liverpool. Like that's my thing. But yeah, no, I do like our. Hold on now. Hold on. I said from where I am. If you were more of a competition to us in terms of kind of if you were kind of further up the table, I'd probably be sitting there going no. Of course, it's a confidence boost, and I would like to see you do better. Like, I would.
I don't.
Like if it means that Leicester drop points, and if it means that United stay where they are, I don't know. I don't mind. From where you are, I'm happy enough to see you succeed. But yeah,
I just miss the rivalry between Arsenal and Man United the most.
Yeah,
I think there always used to be great games in that, and it's just a shame like to see Arsenal in such a lowly position at the moment. I always feel like you've been hit with bad owners just as much as we have, and it's it's sad to see, really.
Sure, we'll get there. We'll be back. I have absolutely no doubt about it. We're not going to be a mid-table disappearing act like West Ham and Aston Villa, and we're not.
You know what, Jen? You could be like United at the moment, and you could still be saying this in 2 years' time. So,
yeah. But you have to have optimism. You have to, and I can't cope with Arsenal supporters that are really, really down on their manager, really down on their board. I know the board could do better. The board can always do better. The owner can always put in more money. He's not putting anything in. He's like your owners. He has a American football team that he puts all his money into. Do you know what I mean? So, but I will stand by.
Ouch, man.
Mushroom, Kev. We've always been a small club. That's the thing. We've always been a family club. And I would never, ever actually take that badly because our supporters are from London. Our supporters are from where we grew up. And Arsenal are brilliant for that. And they support their local community. We've always been a small club, but we do well.
I like that.
You do know, though, Jen, half of London does support Manchester United.
No, that's the half that thinks they're Londoners. They're not Londoners. Londoners support their own teams. Just because people in Manchester don't know how to support their own teams. No comment. No more comments. I'm not going to go down that road. Like I like all you girls. You're lovely.
Typing furiously at the moment.
We'll move on to United's game yesterday against Chelsea. Another game Ollie has set up negatively. Another game we haven't been clinical enough. What did you make of yesterday's game, Danielle?
I was just so frustrated with it. I just thought, the whole team, the whole setup was just negative. We didn't really have that many attempts on goal. There was just nothing, no spark about us. It was almost like we were just trying to play for the draw. And to be honest, this season, I'm just sick of seeing it from Ollie and Man United. If we want to be challenging, pushing, getting that top four spot secured and wound and wrapped up before the end of the season, we need to do better.
100%. And we haven't won a game against top six this season when we did last season. So there's a massive difference this season. He's setting up so negatively, and I think we shouldn't be going out in these games like negatively. Like yesterday, we could have had Chelsea. 100% we could have had them
But
because they
we could
weren't
have
clinical
said-
enough either.
We could have said that though in a few of the games this season, like probably
Yeah.
both games against Arsenal, both games against Chelsea. And we've only scored 1 goal in games against the top 6 this season.
Crazy.
And that was the Bruno penalty against Tottenham where we lost 6-1. So, you know, I think that says it all really. It's not been good enough
Yeah.
against the top sides this season.
Yeah, Becca, what did you make of the game yesterday? Obviously, it was a bit of a shit show on our behalf, but
It was it's the same as what Danielle said. Like, it's just so frustrating to watch. And I don't know. It's just it's like what do they say? The definition of stupidity is doing the same thing but expecting different results. It's like every time. I always think it's going to be different as well. I always think that, okay, yeah, maybe. But then you see the team sheet and you're like, what is going, like, I don't know. Like, it was just so poor overall. Like, you know, yeah. But it's just been like that. I don't think I've actually been on this podcast since we started it and been like, yeah, that was an amazing game. I was so happy with it. You know, we played, you know, I actually, it's just become a pattern. It's just this like negative and like, there's no need for it. We have top players individually. I just don't know what's going on that they can't get it together, especially again, like the points are there for the taking. And I just don't know what the answer is like.
yeah, especially that game against City in December. Like, City were playing poor football at that time and we couldn't capitalize on that. And there's another issue as well with the fact for the likes of Leicester yesterday dropping points and we couldn't capitalize on it. There's definitely areas in our game that badly needs to improve. I'm going to come to that penalty that should have been given.
Why are we
Very
here talking
frustrating.
about another penalty? Like, it's just like, why are we talking about another poor VAR decision and why are we talking about referee again?
In my opinion, the English referees are corrupt. Now, they have come out today and said that Luke Shaw and Ollie will not be penalised for the comments Luke Shaw made yesterday. Now, I will say Luke Shaw has some balls to come out and say what he said yesterday after the game. But just to show that the fact that they weren't penalised means that they are guilty.
There's something in it, yeah.
There's some truth in what Shaw said.
I think as well, like Luke Shaw, because it was about an hour later, wasn't it, where we got told that, Luke Shaw has misheard what the referee has said.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably, in a way, kind of saved his arse a little bit. Like, rather than...
You know what? Like, the fact that there's no crowd in the stadium, that's... Can they not listen back to the game? Because surely microphones would have picked up. Like, surely... Because, like, you can hear people shouting at each other. You can hear people talking to each other on the pitch. Surely a microphone somewhere has picked up what the ref said.
I don't think they release it, though, do they? It's not
they
like...
They won't release the audio.
It's not like rugby or NFL where you can hear them in the stadium. It's just like... I think it's between Stockley Park and the 4 officials, isn't it, in the stadium? That can only hear it like properly or have it tuned into themselves. But, you know, I think the referees have got to start facing the media as well and explaining their decisions. I always think that the players and the management have to. So let's hear it from all 3 aspects of the game, you know, and not just the players and the managers.
Well, Luke Shaw said it right as well. He was like, what's the point in stopping the game, going over, looking at the monitor and then going, no. Do you know, when VAR had ruled that, you know, it was a penalty, I just don't, what's the benefit? Because he doesn't want to get slated in the media. Like, that's not right.
He got slated regardless.
He did, absolutely.
To be honest, he's actually probably made it 10 times worse for himself by not giving it, because we could all see, I mean, Hudson-Odoi's arm was like up here. That's above a natural position. That's the law this season. You know, it's a penalty, unfortunately. Well, fortunately, but depends which way you look at it and what you think about this year's handball rule.
But again, you're talking about United. Like, this is the whole thing. It's like, we've had so many penalties against us, and now people are like, or for us, I mean, like, people are like, oh, sure, it's just United, they're looking for another pen. Like, you know, there's actually a pattern here as well in terms of like some of the penalties we got this year we shouldn't have gotten, you know, as well. Do you know, so it goes both ways for us, and it's just so, it's really depressing actually, because it's taken the love of the game, it's taken actually the heart and the joy. I just don't understand how
I personally think if they can't use VAR, get rid of it.
Yeah, I
Because they
agree.
clearly can't use it.
or if they won't use it, Amy, as well. If even like seeing it in front and then he's still afraid to make a decision, like that's what VAR is for. It's an assistant referee. It's not.
I mean, if you're afraid to make a decision, then why are you refereeing in the Premier League? You know, it's
fair.
But you know what?
Laughable.
It's ever since Jurgen Klopp opened his mouth about United getting penalties, and we've only been awarded 2 since. And there's 2 or 3 others that were disallowed over VAR that were blatant penalties. So there's something going on. But if they can't use VAR, I think they should scrap it, because it's a waste of time. And all the arguments that are around football at the moment are because of VAR.
And it's boring.
I mean, I don't really like, you know, criticising like ruin missed penalties and stuff like that, because we should be clinical enough and we should take it into our own hands as well to win the game on our terms. But I think it's about 3 in a month now, isn't it? We've had the Harry Maguire incident against Sheffield United. We've had the Lindelof one against West Brom, and now we've had this one. So I think there's only so much really the way you can say, actually, you know what, this is something's going on here and it needs looking at.
So they are terrified to give United a penalty because they are terrified of thinking, oh, it's Manchester United. Do you know what I mean? It's like this whole shit. Like, but again, like you said, he's made it a lot worse for himself. I think the FA do need to look into it. Like, it's just, it's rancid. Like,
but that's what I'm saying. They have looked into it and they haven't penalised Shaw or Ollie because
they know
there was truth into what Shaw was said.
Yeah.
So it's corrupt.
The problem is, though, if they drop one referee, you know, they're going to have nobody else because they're all as useless as each other at the moment.
Yeah, but see, look what happened in the Brighton game as well.
Yeah, exactly.
On Saturday. Like, that was cat. What did you make of the penalty shout yesterday? And what is your overall view on VAR at the moment?
I know I came on and I was winding you up saying, oh, I don't think it was a penalty. His hands, they've now changed it from a natural position, hands in a natural position, to hands in an expected position. So if that be the case, his hand was up here to try and get Greenwood's arm down. So is that an expected decision? Is that an expected position if you're doing that? But should you be touching another player anyway? Do you know? I don't know. I think you have to remember that it's another referee that is VAR. It's like a referee sitting up watching a telly, right? So I personally believe you need an independent person, be it an old referee, like somebody who's retired, that knows all the rules, to actually and has no bias maybe, or no foot in the game, you know, because it's a referee up there in Stockley Park saying, oh yeah, I think you should do this, I think you should do that. And you've got to remember referees are a little club. They all talk to each other, they all know who likes each other. And so if you've got somebody up in Stockley Park that you don't like telling you, oh, you've got to give a penalty there, he's going to go, well, no, I'll go and have a look at the monitor and I'm going to overrule him because I don't like him.
Do you think they have a little WhatsApp group that they like that in?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely. They're all a little boys club. Yeah. And it's just, you need somebody, be it an ex-referee. I mean, they've got one on BT that drives me bloody mad. I can't stand
Peter Walton.
Yeah, drives me mad. But, you know, somebody like that who can be there, knows all the rules, and will be absolutely clinical about it and go, well, actually, yeah, that was a rep. Because he'll say it on BT. He's quite happy to say, well, it is or it wasn't, do you know? So why, if he's happy to say it there, he'll be happy to do a job like that and get paid for doing it.
Mm.
You know?
I would possibly favour as well bringing in some of the referees from Europe, because obviously
Yeah,
they've
that's
had
what Keane
VAR.
said there as well.
Yeah, I agree with King, because they've had VAR. I think they've had it about 1 or 2 seasons longer than us at the moment. I mean, is it Massimiliano Durati from Italy,
Yeah.
who's absolutely fantastic on the VAR? And I think maybe that they need to maybe go on a course or come in for a few games and just show our referees how to actually use it properly. And rather than, and I think there was another comment as well that I saw, Ames, where it said about being the clear and obvious error. I can't remember who said it. I think, to be honest, that causes quite a few problems with VAR, because it means that you're seeing some decisions that referees are giving, and then others which are almost exactly the same that they're not giving. But because it's not a clear and obvious error, that the decisions are not being changed, and I think that's where a lot of the confusion is coming from. I think it needs to be like, this is a penalty, this isn't, and start having a bit more moving away from clear and obvious and going, this is, this isn't.
This is natural hand movement. This isn't.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
shit.
Now, there is a comment in here from Mushroom Kev. Nobody's certain of the rules, though. That's the problem.
And I agree
That is
with
the
that,
problem, because they keep changing the handball rule.
Yeah, because they keep changing it halfway through the season.
And they're having a meeting again, I think, this week or next week, and it could be changed again. FIFA are having a meeting. So
Like, I know we weren't all happy with the handball rule at the start of the season, but don't change it mid-season. At least everyone's confusing if you're just changing it mid-season. Do you know?
And I think it's confusing for the referees as well. I think.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You know, I think they've almost looked at it and it's gone, well, I don't even know what to do anymore. I mean, it's like Lee Mason at the weekend. I mean, I know that wasn't a handball, but he just didn't have a fucking clue.
Oh my God, he was awful.
I would have loved to have heard the audio on that one. That was hilarious.
Oh, yeah, not if you're Brighton and you end up losing the match completely.
I'm going to bring up next Bruno Fernandes and him disappearing in games against the top 6. Now, I personally don't think it's a fact of him disappearing. It's him not getting the service behind him. Like, there's a stat gone out there where McTominay and Fred actually only completed 7 passes to Bruno yesterday. 7.
So that's one less than every 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Wow.
So then Bruno has to go look for the ball himself. He has to cover a lot of ground. He's going to make errors. Kante was on his tail. Danielle, what are you making of this whole Bruno slander? Just because of him disappearing in top 6 games or against top 6 clubs?
To be honest, I think that yesterday he got marked off the pitch by Kante. And I think that the top 6 teams have almost kind of cottoned on that he's our danger man. He needs to be man marked. And we get Bruno out of the game and we're effectively stopping Man United at the moment, because a lot of our creative work is going through Bruno.
Yeah.
You know, obviously Ollie does like to play with Fred or Matic or 2 more defensively minded midfielders, because we haven't got the single person who can do the whole job as a DM at the moment. And obviously, you know, having to play the 2 there means we are sacrificing another big outlet or creative outlet in these games.
Yeah, 100%. Becca, what are you making of Bruno at the minute and all the slander?
It's just hard, like, because, like, he does well and he's like the savior. He's Cantona reincarnated.
I think he's an easy target, basically.
I know that he's having, like, he's carrying that fucking team on his back. Like, you know, he's carrying a lot of the team. He's carrying a lot of that slack, you know. It's really unfair, and I said it in another episode, like, you're only as good as what's around you. And if what's around you is dog shit, unfortunately, he can't do much with that. Like, especially if he's being marked off the pitch, as Danielle said. Like, what can he do? He's getting run ragged around the pitch. He's got no one to help him. Like, I don't know. Rashford's not on form. Martial, it's dependent on whether he gets off the bus. It's just he can't do it himself.
If he actually leaves his house more than actually getting off the bus.
Yeah, it'd be nice if he got on the bus. But yeah, no, it's just very. He's damned if he does, damned if he doesn't, and he's getting wrecked, and you can see it in him. He's getting haggard, like he's just not able.
He was getting very, very frustrated. Very frustrated. Jen, what do you make of Bruno and the slander against top six clubs?
I know when Bruno was playing us, we did mark him. We kind of tough on him. Do you know what I mean? So a few little digs, and we did actually manage to mark him out the game, and we got a 0-0. Yesterday, I was watching. I thought Fred was really good. I did think Fred was probably one of your best players. Sorry, but he was the one that was getting forward, and I was like, oh my God, Fred. I've never seen Fred this much in a match.
He had moments.
But he should be passing to Bruno. Like, Bruno is the talent. And I was just like, oh God. You could see how frustrated he was getting, and I actually felt sorry for him yesterday because he was on the edge of the penalty area at one point, and he just went mad when nothing happened. He would just lost it when nothing happened. And he was trying to rally them very frustrated. Yeah, he was trying to rally them, and yeah, it's funny. I was just thinking that same thing that Keen's just said there.
And I agree with Keen as well.
Yeah, that's Pogba for the service.
Yesterday's game was screaming Pogba, and it was screaming Van de Beek as well, massively. Dan James has had a couple of great games for us now, the last couple of games. I personally think he's a good little squad player for the time being. I do think he could improve, but his confidence is actually getting a bit better at the moment. But it is very bad to say that Dan James was our best player yesterday. Becca, what are you making of Dan James at the minute?
I mean, like, I like him, but I mean, I wouldn't like him to play every day, every game that we have. And it's kind of looking like, I don't know, he's never going to be the first choice for Ollie. He's not, like, but what he's around at the minute, it's kind of Amy McDonald. Yeah. I take personal offense. But yeah, no, it is lovely to see him be so confident in games and actually make the runs. He's very fast. He may not be very clinical, but he's very good at tricking opposition players, and he's I don't know, he's a funny one because he wouldn't be someone who I'd say like, I need him in the team like every game, but he's all right for now. Like, if he stays this confident and this, if I say a little bit cocky, he might be okay. He needs growth. He's still very young. He's only 23. Like, yeah, he's all right. I wouldn't be like putting him on the back of my jersey now or anything, but
yeah. Danielle, what are you making of Dan James at the minute?
Yeah, I mean, for me, the jury's still out a little bit on Dan James. I mean, yesterday I did think he was one of our best players, which I think says more about the rest of the team than Dan James, personally. I think he is a very good squad player, and I think he could also be a very good impact substitute with his pace, but his footballing intelligence leaves a lot to be desired. But you know, at the end of the day, I'd rather see a player like Dan James that puts a shift in, works hard, tracks back, than what we've been seeing from a couple of players, Martial most notably recently. So yeah, jury's still out for me on Dan James, but I wouldn't I mean, he is 23. I mean, I
He's
think
not that young.
Yeah,
No.
he's not young, if you know what I mean. Not like Mason Greenwood, 18,
But he's not
19, young.
experienced either. So this is the problem.
Yeah.
He's not like overly experienced either. So he's kind of caught between. He's in kind of football limbo at the minute. I think he's kind of.
But then, obviously, like last year's season, he was over relied on, I would say, and then I think perhaps maybe a loan spell away would have been good for him, but obviously it didn't happen, and it is what it is, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, like, I completely agree with the fact that he could be a good impact sub. But yesterday, I was praying Alonso was playing because Dan James would have turned him inside out. I think there's certain games you can play Dan James, and there's games that you definitely would not play him. I think more so play him against teams that will sit back and he can run at defenders. But other than that, he doesn't really have much of an end product. I'm actually going to talk about Rashford a bit now as well because he's starting to become very inconsistent. Like yesterday, he was anonymous, and he turned into Dan James of last season. There's just no end product from him, and you know what? There's actually no excuses anymore. I understand he probably has a lot going on outside football, but at the end of the day, he's 23 years of age. He's actually not that young anymore. He's been playing Premier League football for 5 years, so he's not completely oblivious to the league.
No, not at all.
Yeah, Danielle, what are you making of Rashford at the minute?
Rashford's one of those players I just so want to do well, because obviously he's Manchester born and bred. He's got the work ethic, he's got the enthusiasm for the club, but I mean, he has been doing very well, don't get me wrong, and I think he's set himself such a high standard that we are seeing a little bit of a dip in form. I mean, I'm still not 100% convinced that he's 100% fully fit and all over his injuries. But yeah,
I think he's overplayed as well. He's wrecked.
I think that's probably the same for a few of the names. Probably Bruno Fernandes, going back to him as well. But yeah, going back to Rashford, I'm thinking Ollie's probably trying to play them through a bad bit of form. Same with Martial as well. But it just goes to show really that we've almost kind of got a few players fighting for one position, and that's on the left wing. And I think that, we're trying to, sometimes Rashford has been moved on the right, and sometimes he's been moved to up top as well. And I think that Ollie needs to make a decision on what to do, to whether stick with Rashford on the left or maybe have a look at bringing somebody else in to get the quality we need.
It's actually very sad to watch it, because he's had such a good run of form for so long, and then just to see and like you said, he's got such an amazing work ethic on and off the pitch, and it's like what he's doing off the pitch is kind of overshadowing what his actual job is, which is to play for United. Like that's his job.
Now, don't get me wrong, he has a good record of goal and assist this season, but inconsistency has been massive at the moment, and I do think he's been overplayed, but I don't know.
Got to get that balance as well, because you want to keep him playing. You don't want to bench him when that is going to wreck his confidence as well, because he knows he's a starting player. So when he's on the bench, it is you can see it's very hard for Ollie to strike a balance with Rashford. It's just sad. It's actually very sad to watch, to be honest with you.
Yeah, Jen, what are you making of Rashford at the minute?
I don't know. Do you know, like I said, he is going. If he keeps playing badly, he's going to have a crisis of confidence anyway. So maybe just Ollie takes him in and says, look, I'm giving you a rest this week. I want you to get your head together. Come on, show it to me on the training pitch. Do you know, you need a rest. I've been playing you the whole time, and work it that way. Do you know, because players do. I mean, you were looking at Bruno. Bruno has lost weight. Do you know, and it's all the playing he's doing and all the stress. Like he must feel the weight of United on him. You're in second place, and
His back is killing him, Jen. His
yeah,
back is
he's
broken.
lost weight. Like, he looks bloody, yeah. He's carrying them, definitely, and he'll have no back left by this time next year if he carries on. And I just think that is the manager's. It's something the manager has to do. He has to, instead of keep playing them. I know he knows they're his best team, but they're going to lose form. He has to sit back and go, well, actually, I have to give you a rest this week. I have to. There's, and it's not to do with how you're playing necessarily. It's just, I need to look after you.
Yeah.
And he needs to do it with Bruno as well. I was so delighted yesterday when Saka was left out, was on the bench. He was able, because I've seen it with Saka now in the last couple of games. To me, he didn't look, even though he played brilliantly, he didn't look like he looked a few weeks ago, say. And he got a rest now yesterday, so hopefully he'll be fine. I'm hoping they'll give him a rest again next weekend, and then he'll be fine for Europe. But I do think it's the manager. I do think he needs to actually look at his team and go, right, you need a rest this week. And look at the games you've got. See Crystal Palace. Does Rashford need to play Crystal Palace? Does Bruno need to play for
I'd much rather see him be rested.
Bruno needs to play against Crystal Palace.
Bruno needs to play because the Pogba and Donny are injured.
Yeah, you really are missing Pogba, and I never thought I'd say that about you.
No, I didn't either.
No,
I didn't either. I think just for the likes of Crystal Palace, they are a team that are going to sit back behind the ball and try catches on the counter, but we struggle to break these teams down, so we are going to need Bruno in there. Like Van de Beek, I know he's on the bench now, he has been training, but he doesn't get played anyway. Pogba is injured, Mata is injured, so the one creative player we have needs to play.
Hashtag where's Matt?
But this is the thing, though, isn't it? Like, do we need to play McFred against Crystal Palace?
No.
Who we know are going to sit
need
back
to play McFred, honestly.
Exactly. It's like, let's give
I'll tell you
exactly.
Who he's going to play. Matic and Fred.
Oh, God.
That's who he's going to play.
Static fucking Matic. Oh.
Lindelof.
I mean, I'm not being rude, but like, we don't need to play him against Crystal Palace.
No.
A Fred would suffice. Honestly. I'm dreading it now.
We're going to move on to Europa League. Obviously, United drew with AC Milan and Arsenal drew with Olympiacos. I know you touched on it a while ago, Jen, but how are you feeling overall about Arsenal drawing Olympiacos? Are you feeling confident or?
Now, you know me. Do I ever not feel confident? Yeah.
He's the most optimistic Arsenal fan I've ever met in my life. It's amazing. I love it. It's so nice.
You know why? Because I'm not in my 20s.
Maybe.
That's why. I'm older. I remember Arsenal when we were a mid-table team. I know they can say that's this season, but I remember I was there back in the late 70s, early 80s. I was going to matches, and it was brilliant just to go to matches. And yeah, if we beat Millwall, we were singing. Millwall were in top flight at that time. So that's why. I mean, life goes on. It's not life or death. And people go mad at me when I say, "Oh, it's not life or death," especially when I'm killing my son last Thursday because we're arguing over our defenders leaving in a goal. I'm not going on that podcast if we lose. So I'm in the middle of a match. I'm a different person to after a match. Even if we lose, I'm just like, right, look at what we've done and how we've done it and why have we done it. And please God, we learn from it. But no, Olympiacos, we should have beaten them last year. We should have. It was ridiculous. And we are a different team this year. We're a different team the last few weeks. We've really seemed to have found a formula with, I don't know whether it was because Odegaard's come in. I honestly think it's when we started playing our youngsters when we started Smith Rowe in the middle, that he actually maybe fell into the form, fell into it, Arteta. And he's just found something that works for us. I know we lost a couple in, but I mean, who hasn't lost to Man City this season? Well, you can say that. But,
We drew.
But
No, we have lost.
Oh, did you lose? I couldn't
in the
remember
cup.
if you drew or not.
Oh yeah, the cup. Forgot about that.
But you know, and I just think, as I said earlier, revenge is sweet, and we're definitely over 2 legs, especially with our home leg being first. I can see us just winning because we played at Olympiacos's ground last week against Benfica and we won, and it was just a really good omen. It was like, yeah, do you know what, we can do this. And I really believe we're getting to the final. I said that from the beginning of the season. Even when we weren't playing good, I was like, we're getting to the Europa League final this season. And I truly
believe you, Jen. Honestly, yeah, you're so convincing. I'm like, this is amazing.
Do you know what, though? If you think about who's left in the Europa League, I'd say that probably Man United and AC Milan were probably the 2 favourites.
Yeah.
Drawn each other. You know, the rest of it's probably a bit of an open field now, really. It's that draw's kind of really opened it up a bit.
Absolutely delighted that we missed all the English teams and Rangers. And
yeah, they're another good shout.
Yeah, and I just thought AC Milan and you, wow, that's going to be a game. Looking forward to watching that.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
We'll move on to United and AC Milan. We got the hardest draw in the competition. It seems to be a bit repetitive this season. We seem to be drawing the hardest teams in the cups and in Europe as well. But luckily for us, it looks like Zlatan Ibrahimovic, the big man, is out for the first leg.
Thank God. Thank God.
Becca, what are you making of what are you making of us drawing AC Milan? Do you think we'll pass them?
No, I don't. It makes me so sad and I want to cry. But no, like I don't see it. Not with the run of form we've had, not with the luck we've had. I don't see it, being completely honest. I know I'm gonna get slated in the comments, but I just feel like that I would obviously like to be proven very, very, very wrong. But I just feel like the way we've been, like we can't beat lower league teams at the minute. So how do we think we're going to beat AC Milan over 2 games? Like, it's just, there's optimism. There's Jen's lovely optimism, and there's reality.
They're actually not playing that great at the moment, you know.
They're not, no. But again, just the way we are at the minute, it's just so inconsistent. Do you want me to throw a stat at you? Lovely crunchy stat.
I love a stat.
A good stat, right? In the last 5 knockout ties that we've had with AC Milan, we've been knocked out 4 times by AC Milan.
Oh.
So this would be number 6. Like, knockout tie 6. So, I don't know.
I personally think we'll beat them over 2 legs. And I think the fact that Ibrahimovic is out for the first leg, we need to capitalise in that game. Danielle, what are you thinking?
I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a really exciting game, and one which probably deserves to be a Champions League draw than a Europa League draw, unfortunately. I think what concerns me more, not really Ibrahimovic, it's more like Romagnoli and Tonali in the defence, because they're going to be a tough pairing to, get the better of, and especially with our forwards not being particularly clinical at the moment, that could be a potential problem. But, we're at home the first leg, so we need to make the most of that, and Ibrahimovic not being available. But they're not the AC Milan team of 10, 15 years ago, not by a long stretch of the imagination. They're perfectly beatable, and Serie A is, would you say it's the same standard as the Premier League? I probably wouldn't. So, we just got to make sure that we put out a strong team and get the result.
Yeah, what bothers me the most is our first leg is at home and our home form is not that great. So that worries me a little bit. I do
just
think that
really
we'll beat them over 2 legs.
I feel sick. Like, I actually don't feel well when I think about it. Like, it just, I hope we'll beat them over 2 legs.
Mm.
I'd like to be very pleasantly surprised, but again, I wouldn't expect much from what we're providing at the minute. It's just
Who do you think is going to go further, United or Arsenal? I know Jen is going to say Arsenal, but realistically,
I've had a really bad day in work, and I'm going to say Arsenal. I'm thick today. I do think Arsenal are going to go for it. I don't think we will. Go on, come
what
at
do
me.
you think, Danielle?
I'm saying United, and I think whoever wins this tie wins the Europa League.
Well, I'm saying Arsenal, obviously. Milan are second in their league, and you're second in your league, so it'd be nice to see what league's better.
Yeah, but that's a farmer league.
Yeah, exactly. So therefore, you should beat them. And I think, I think the Premiership. I'm biased. The Premiership is the best league in the world. So
I think so.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, I think it's the hardest league for any player to come into and adapt to. I reckon you either adapt straight away or you take a while to adapt. Like look at Timo Werner at the moment; he's taken a while to adapt, while Bruno Fernandes just went in and he adapted straight away. So it's just one of those leagues.
And it's like my lovely
fancy a Man United Arsenal final.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
that would be amazing. Imagine for the pod.
I would love that.
Can I bring a friend on if that happens?
You have to be three devils and 2
We'll have to find another Gooner for Jen.
It'd be hard to find it.
I'm positive.
Oh, Becca.
I missed what she said.
She went, it'll be hard to find another one.
There's plenty in London, believe me.
Right. So United have Palace and City coming up, so 2 games this week, and Arsenal have Burnley. Now, I have awful nightmares of United playing Burnley because I was at that game January last year where we lost 2-0. And I had nightmares for about 3 months after it because it was awful. Jen, how are you feeling about playing Burnley?
Well, we've already lost to Burnley this season, 1-0. So they're not my favourite team. It's not funny.
That's a bit of a there we go. That's better.
Thanks, Keen. That's better. Civil. So we've already lost to them. What? I don't
get that tie on from AFTV.
Oh, no. Right, okay. That comment. Right, back to Burnley. Let me think about Burnley. I can't stop.
Settle down in the comments, please. Thank you.
Stop reading them. Right, so Burnley have already beaten us this season, 1-0. I respect Burnley. I love their defence. I think they are really good defending. Apart from yesterday when I needed them to defend against Tottenham. But I think Tottenham showed the way because they haven't been playing well. But I showed that you can get behind their defenders. And I would actually play the same team as we had playing yesterday with one change. I would put Aubameyang in rather than Willian. I mean, and people think I'm really biased because Willian I don't like very much at all. Even when he played out of his skin yesterday, he still hasn't won me over.
It's just the Arsenal effect, Jen. It's just the Arsenal effect,
No, it's the Chelsea effect. When you come from Chelsea, come on.
He played well at Chelsea though, and then he went to Arsenal and he was shy.
Yeah, he was, but Chelsea were only offering him a 2-year contract because they knew he was gone, that he wasn't as good as he was, and he made out that he was better to sell him to us. And we just took the bait. Anyway, we need
You
to
take
back
the
up
rejects.
the What?
You take the rejects.
Oh,
Ooh.
we make our team.
I
Come
feel like
on.
we're all being very mean to Jennifer. I feel like bring it back in a little bit.
I can't look. I can't hear everybody. Oh yeah, and I forgot party to start ahead of El Nene. Thank you, William.
Have you got a score prediction, Jen?
No, I won't do a score prediction for it because it'll either be a 1-0 or it will be absolutely annihilate them. It depends. It depends on, like, if we go out like we went out yesterday, we could absolutely do 3 and 4-0. But if we sit back like we can do and think we're Man City and we just pass the ball around and do nothing with it, we'll be lucky to do 1-0. But I will say we will win, because I will never say that we're going to lose. We will win.
Well, I think from United's point of view, I think every stream that we have done in She Devils, we have said United are going to win every single game. So at this stage, we should have the Europa League one, the Champions League one, and the Premier League one. So yeah, no, I completely get where you're coming from, Jen. Danielle, what are you making of the game against Palace? I think it's going to be tough. They're going to sit back behind the ball. They're going to play a counter attack. I think this is where he needs to play Eric Bailly.
Definitely.
What I think Zaha was injured, but I think he is back for Wednesday. What are you making of the game Wednesday?
Yeah, I think it's just going to be a tough game, a bit of a slog, unfortunately. I can almost see it being one of those games that, a bit like Burnley, either goes that we get an early goal and Palace open up and we just score 4 or 5, or we're going to find them really difficult to break down and we're going to end up with like a 0-0 draw or a scrappy 1-0 win or something like that.
We can't afford to be dropping these points, to be honest.
No, we can't, not at all. You know, especially
Becca,
with...
Yeah, go on.
Especially with like Chelsea coming back into a little bit of form now under Tuchel. You know, Spurs picked up points. West Ham is still going really well as well, so got to keep on it.
Never know, Liverpool can come back up in the ranks again.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
Well, they're not going to be, with the players they got. You just thought they wouldn't be in bad form forever.
Yeah,
They're going to pick up at some point.
Yeah, definitely. Becca, what are you making of the game against Palace?
I don't think I've ever looked at a game against Palace and thought we were going to win. I never look at them because I just find that, like you said, they're just waiting for, they're just sneaks. Like they just wait for like you to fuck up, and unfortunately we're fucking up a lot at the minute, especially defensively, especially a bogey side for us.
We lost 3-1 against them last September.
Yeah, like I
September.
would never look at them and go, yeah, we'll beat them. It's just something about them I just don't like.
Suppose it was the same against Southampton though. We did beat them 9-0.
True. I don't know. I'm just very today. I'm sorry.
I think United are very inconsistent, so it's very hit and miss. You never know what to predict from them.
No, and you don't know who's going to show up on the day either. Like,
yeah, definitely. And then next weekend, then we have City. That is going to be very tough. City are playing class at the minute. I was even looking at their game the other day, and I was looking at their bench, and I was like, you could literally start their bench in the first team as well.
I think that's the difference between us and City there at the minute, isn't it? It's just that depth and quality on the bench. But even with like De Bruyne injured, you've barely noticed it, have you, with them? Because there's just Mahrez there or somebody else that can fill in.
Yeah, definitely. Becca, what are you making of the City game at the weekend? I personally think it's going to be quite tough, and we're going to need to sit back behind the ball, I think.
Like, for me, like if Bally isn't on, I just don't. I cannot defend Ollie anymore. Like we need Bally on. We need a team that's actually gonna try, who wants to be on. Like, it's not even that they don't want to try. It's just like it's just really hard to see a team. I do need a hug, actually. Yeah, you're dead right, Kev. You're dead right.
Aw.
I'm just so deflated. Yeah, it's just gonna be really hard, and yeah, like it's just not. I'm not looking forward to it, especially after like it's just a shit run of games as well, and especially after Chelsea, and especially after. I thought we could have taken Chelsea, and I don't know why
We should have.
we're not taking the opportunities that we're being presented with. I don't know. It's not going to be easy. I'm just very deflated and very. I'm just hoping for better days, hoping for better days. But I just, yeah, hopefully, I would like. Obviously, I mean, I had fun. I do want them to win, but I can't sit there going, yeah, they're going to win. They're going to trash City like 6-0. That's not going to happen. Like we can't beat Chelsea, who haven't been on form in months. Like, it's just, I don't know. I'd love to see them. I'd love to even see them win on Wednesday. Like that would be enough. Even if we win on Wednesday and get trashed on like by City, I wouldn't mind if we actually we need 3 points somewhere. We need them now as well.
I reckon as well, City are going to be a team that are going to try eliminate Bruno as much as possible, same as Chelsea did yesterday. So it is going to be a bit of an issue, and I hate them going out playing negative FC, but the form that City are in at the minute, I think they're going to have to sit back and try catch them on the counter.
I can just see now Fernandinho's just going to mark Fernandes out the game. That's going to be their tactic.
Yeah, what are you making of the game at the weekend then?
Yeah, I mean, I want to try and be a little bit more positive, but it's a bit of a struggle, isn't it? You know, I'd love to be the team that ends their, is it 20 wins on the bounce in all competitions?
Yeah, I think
it's something ridiculous like that.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's a great run, and all credit to them, especially the way they started the season.
But
I think, I wouldn't be surprised if it was a draw, because I think maybe City could look at it as one of their tougher games that they've had recently. But, I think if we get anything more than a draw out of it, it's a good result.
If we don't get trashed, it'd be a good result, I think.
I don't like going in with that attitude, though, because it is a derby. And, we all know that form can go out the window for a derby. But
I don't want him to go out and play a negative lineup, negative tactics, because I hate that. But the form City are in at the moment, they could put 2-3 past us, and that's worrying. I don't know. It's tough. We badly need 3 points against Palace anyway. I think we need to capitalise on the fact that Leicester are going to be dropping points now. Because I think Harvey Barnes and James Maddison are massive losses for them. We've seen that yesterday against Arsenal. Like I genuinely thought Leicester were going to win that yesterday. I think a lot of people did as well, to be honest. I think it's the one game we actually wanted Arsenal to win.
We were 2-1 up before Harvey Barnes went off.
Yeah,
he went off in the 50 something minute. I'll just remind you of that. Well, we weren't losing when he went off. I will say, right, watch Man City when you're playing them, because when we played them, I know we lost 1-0, but I said to the lads here, I just went, oh my God, they're Kilkenny, right? If you watch Kilkenny hurling, all the stuff they do off the ball to annoy your players. They tried really, really hard to get Cedric sent off, really hard. And then when they couldn't, he got a yellow card. And when they couldn't get him sent off, when he calmed down and couldn't get, he didn't get overexcited about everything, they started on Xhaka, because Xhaka is known as a hothead. So just watch them off the ball, because I just said they're Kilkenny in disguise. If you know Kilkenny hurlers, you'll get it. So it'd be interesting to see.
Amy, do you think we could get 4 points from 2 games?
I reckon we'll beat Palace.
Yeah.
I'm hoping we can pull a draw against City.
I think it will take a lot. It will take a lot.
I think if you offered me that right now, I would take that.
Oh yeah, take the hand off you. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I would.
I mean, I don't like saying it like that, but that's the reality of where we are at the moment, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And how City have been playing.
I just
100%. They're playing really well at the minute, so it is definitely now. I think Palace is going to be a tough game as well because we know how United play against these teams. We can't break them down, and the fact that we only have Bruno fit at the minute, he's not going. I want him to play Van de Beek, but I don't. He won't play Van de Beek, and that's a problem as well because we're missing a lot of creativity in there for these teams, especially.
Mm-hmm.
But City is going to be really, really tough, especially because we're very inconsistent at the minute, and City are playing really, really well. But look, we're lucky to be where we are at the minute. We're lucky to be in second place considering how inconsistent we've been. But that's all down to a lot of the other clubs being inconsistent as well. Like look at Liverpool. Liverpool's downfall has been the pride of this season so far.
It's been such a weird season as well. It's just been such a,
But I think a number of factors come into that, like no fans at the club. Like look at United's home form. Like if that stadium was filled, it could be the opposite way around. You know. So yeah, hopefully, I know Jen's hoping for 3 points. We're all hoping for at least 4 the next 2. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. It's a nervous one, obviously, because we need to try keep second place as well, and obviously Arsenal are trying to climb their way back up the table again. So I'm presuming you're going to want Europa League spot, Jen.
Yeah, I've been saying it since we started this top 6. It's not out of the question. We've got a great little run in after we get. Well, we've got City out of the way. We've got West Ham coming up. We've got Spurs coming up, and we've got Liverpool coming up after that. All lower teams like ourselves, so we should be able to beat them all.
You hope anyway.
Arsenal are good at run-ins usually. Get February out the way usually, and our run-in then starts after that.
I actually hope Pogba's back for the City game.
That's actually
me too. Is there any news on whether he's going to be fit or?
I don't think they're. Yeah, not said. I hope Cavani's fit as well. I know he's supposed to be. I think he's 50-50 for Wednesday.
I was just going to say, what's the story with Cavani like?
But if he is fit, do not play him. Wait for Sunday.
I agree. There's no need. There's no need to take that risk.
100%. Yeah, he's training, so at least that's something anyway. At least a couple of players are coming back from injury now, and hopefully they're fit and can stay fit, because I think Pogba has definitely been a massive loss for us in the last few games. So we'll leave it there. Cian will be live tomorrow evening at 8:00 on Devil's Advocate, so make sure you sub to the channel and stay tuned for that. If you don't already, sub to the channel, like the video, go follow the Twitter page over on the Weekly Armchair Kickoff podcast, and thanks everyone in the comments. Thanks everyone for watching. Bye.
Bye.